I don't agree. Oh. But the night I said I'm leaving, I turned into Richard Petty. Broke my heart, so I got even in my 97 Chevy. Now I'm walking on this water.
It's not every day that two titans from completely different worlds collide in a moment that sends shockwaves across pop culture. But that's exactly what happened when NASCAR legend Richard Petty and country music superstar Morgan Wallen met up at the 2025 Cracker Barrel 400 in Nashville. For some, it was an Instagram post. For others, it was a cultural reset. And for Richard Petty, it was something more, a moment worth speaking on. But let's rewind a bit. Just a few weeks before this iconic meetup, Morgan Wallen dropped a bombshell track with Post Malone titled "I Ain't Coming Back." Buried in its catchy, melancholic chorus was a line that caught the attention of an entirely different audience. But the night I said, "I'm leaving," I turned into Richard Petty, broke my heart, and I got even in my 97 Chevy. A single lyric, but it hit like a shot of nitrous to the NASCAR community. Suddenly, fans were tagging Richard Petty, sharing clips, and speculating if the king himself had heard the song. Spoiler alert, he had. Richard Petty broke his silence the way legends do, not with a press release or staged video, but with a casual yet poignant Instagram story. He tagged Wallen and simply wrote, "Thanks for the shout-out." That single sentence might have seemed low-key to some, but it was a clear signal. Petty saw it, appreciated it, and was ready to play ball. When Petty pulled into the Nashville Superspeedway for the 2025 NASCAR weekend, it wasn't just about racing anymore. It became the epicenter of an unexpected cultural crossover, blending the grit of stock cars with the soul of Southern country. Morgan Wallen, decked out in boots and attitude, was already a crowd magnet. With chart toppers like "Sand in My Boots" and "Wasted on You," his reputation as country music's wild child was cemented. But on this day, his presence wasn't just about performing or fanfare. It was about legacy, and linking his name to one of racing's most untouchable icons. The photo that emerged said it all. Petty and Wallen, side by side with the caption, "Only in Nashville." The king of NASCAR and the prince of country in one frame. For fans, it was a dream come true. Reactions online were instant and intense. One fan summed up the sentiment perfectly. "Richard Petty at Morgan Wallen, NASCAR, and Chevrolet. That's classic Americana. Love it." Another joked, "Is it just me, or does anyone else think that Morgan Wallen could play Dale Sr. in a movie?" The resemblance, mullet, boots, and all, wasn't lost on anyone. This wasn't Wallen's first brush with NASCAR, nor was it Petty's first rodeo in music. Back in 1975, Petty had actually contributed to the NASCAR Goes Country Music album, alongside racing greats like David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, Bobby Allison, Buddy Baker, and Darrell Waltrip. That album was even re-released in 2002. But this new link with Wallen felt different. It wasn't just a novelty, it was genuine respect. And Wallen's lyric? It wasn't random. Referencing Petty as a symbol of speed and escape during heartbreak was both poetic and powerful. As far as metaphors go, turning into Richard Petty during a breakup hits a special kind of nerve. Fast, furious, and fueled by raw emotion. Petty's name has long lived in the verses of country songs. From Billy String's Richard Petty to Alabama's nods to Petty fans, the king has been a go-to symbol for rebellion, resilience, and relentless drive. But this tribute hit differently because it came from someone whose fan base overlaps heavily with NASCAR's own. The Nashville meetup wasn't just a photo op, it was a handshake across generations, the son of a racing dynasty and the voice of a new Southern wave, bridging a cultural gap with a lyric and a smile. Wallen, who had earlier in the day hung out with longtime collaborator Ernest, also the event's grand marshal, made his way to Petty's side with ease. They weren't just meeting, they were vibing. Two men who, on paper, might seem worlds apart, but who in reality shared the same roots, the same fans, and the same unfiltered spirit of the South. Some fans even pitched wild crossover ideas. One hilarious comment read, "Ask It Kill Petty at Post Malone to now do a song with a King Petty rap." While probably tongue-in-cheek, the idea touched on a broader truth. NASCAR and music are no longer operating in separate universes. They're intersecting in bold, unpredictable ways. And if you needed proof of how deep Petty's influence runs in Nashville, just look at his record at the old Fairground Speedway. With 9 Cup Series wins there, 5 of them back-to-back. Petty isn't just a racing hero, he's a Nashville legend in his own right. His dominance from 1958 to 1984 was nothing short of historic. Fast forward to today, and the superspeedway sits on a concrete surface that's rewriting racing rules. According to Petty, concrete tracks offer consistent grip unaffected by weather fluctuations, creating a level playing field where skill shines brightest. That insight came from not just experience, but from the evolution of tracks like Martinsville Speedway, where Petty's crew chief Dale Inman remembers how concrete corners changed the game. So, when Petty talks about racing in Nashville, he's not just reminiscing, he's laying down the blueprint for future greatness. And with Wallen now name-dropping him in lyrics and standing beside him in photos, that blueprint just gained a new level of cultural capital. For Wallen, the moment was more than symbolic. Just weeks after releasing I'm the Problem, the album that includes his Petty tribute, he found himself standing beside the man who inspired it. That's not just synergy, that's storytelling. And the story isn't over yet. This crossover has sparked a wave of interest, not just among die-hard NASCAR fans or country music lovers, but among casual observers who see something bigger, a revival of Americana in its rawest, most authentic form. The King and the GOAT, as one fan labeled them, didn't just meet, they made a statement. In a world of filters and facades, the moment felt real. Two legends, one camera, and 1,000 interpretations. It was fast, it was southern, it was heartfelt. And if you blinked, you missed it. But for those who saw it, the message was clear. The past and the present just shook hands, and the future of American culture is looking more connected and more exciting than ever before. If you love seeing two American icons collide, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Who do you want to see Richard Petty team up with next? Let's keep this conversation rolling.